stop. Stop trying. Stop this restless tinkering with yourself, this polishing of a mask, this endless program of producing a better you out of the same clay you have been kneading for years. I must ask you, right now, as your teacher and your friend, to lay down the tools, put up thy sword. Every stroke you take at the personal self is the stroke that forges its chains. Every attempt to fix it is the hypnosis that says the personal self has power. Be still and know that I am God. Not be clever, not be better, not be improved. Be still. You have been defending the wrong you. You have been explaining the wrong you. You have been correcting, apologizing, promising, and repenting for the wrong you. And the proof that it is the wrong you is the ceaseless strain, the breathless hurry, the inner argument that never ends, the self that needs defense, the self that must explain why it did this and not that, the self congratulating or condemning itself. This is not you. That is the named self, the surface actor that borrows your life and then spends it like counterfeit coin. And the very moment you set out to improve it, you enthrone it. Do you see? In trying to polish it, you ascribe to it reality and power. You say, if only I work on you hard enough, you will save me. Get thee behind me, Satan. You will not be saved by a brighter personality, nor by more refined arguments, nor by a stronger will. Except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Now listen closely, because I will not repeat this lightly, and I must ask you not to pass it on until you yourself have proved it in the secrecy of your own chamber. There is one mechanism for our work here. One, it is simple as a sentence and advanced as fire. For the purpose of this teaching, you must assume that there are two of you. Not two beings, no, but two viewpoints within your awareness. The named self you answer to on letters and telephones, and the inner I, that is, I am. You are not going to improve the named self. You are going to cease giving it governance. You are going to yield it. You will learn to let it be addressed. You will practice stillness until the I becomes the doer and the named self becomes the instrument. Do not treat this as a clever idea to discuss over tea, and do not be tempted to parade it to the unprepared. If this instruction falls into the wrong hands, it will be reduced to a formula and used to try to control life, to make demonstrations like circus tricks, and then it would be better that it had never been spoken. I tell you this with the weight of years. Be still and know that I am God is not a slogan. It is a doorway, and doorways open onto responsibility. If you choose to remain a student, then you must accept what I say, and you must accept the discipline that follows. There will be no more tinkering with the outer shell. We will not paint the mask, we will remove it. So, for today, let this be the first act of obedience. Stop trying to fix yourself. Sit quietly, not to manage thought, not to recite reasons, not to bargain for a better day. Sit as one who has laid down the hammer in the mirror. Hear the word as if spoken from within you. Be still and know, I am God. Allow that word to interrupt the ancient habit of effort. The self that would scramble to improve will squirm. Let it. Do not feed it. Do not argue with it. Simply yield the stage. The named self has had the microphone long enough. In the weeks before us, I will show you, step by exacting step, how to assume the true seat and how to let the inner eye govern. For now, the command stands, stop trying and be still. Now then, before we go any farther with this, I must speak plainly, and I must ask you to listen as a student, not as a collector of ideas. This is not for broadcast. Do not take it to the marketplace. Do not put it on your lips to win an argument, and do not send it round as a new technique. If this instruction finds its way into hands that want to make demonstrations like a circus, heal this today, fix that tomorrow, it will be abused, and then better it had never been given. You don't have to remain a student. No one compels you. But if you do, you must accept what I say, and you must accept the discipline that accompanies it. Be still and know that I am God is not a charm. It is a charge. It confers responsibility. It says, in effect, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. The first responsibility is motive. You are not taking up this practice to get outcomes. No, you are not going to use God for a purpose. You are going to yield the personal self to the governance of the inner I. There is a difference so sharp that it will divide soul and spirit for you if you let it. When you sit, you do not sit to extract results. You sit to surrender rule. You do not sit to bend circumstances. You sit to be bent out of personal will into receptivity. Thy will be done, not as resignation, but as government. Make this clear to yourself, because the mind will try again and again to bargain. If I am still for 10 minutes, will you fix this? And you must hear yourself answer, get thee behind me, Satan. We are not here to command life. We are here to know life that is already commanding. The second responsibility is time. You will not accomplish this in a weekend. It will take you not less than 3 to 4 months to accomplish this meditation. And that presupposes daily fidelity, never less than an hour a day. And I would say to you too, if you would advance without backsliding, several times a day you will return to it for 5 minutes, not to get anywhere, but to re-yield, to remember the government under which you place yourself. At first, you may not enjoy it. You may not even approve of it. The mind will object. It will tell you this is dull, mechanical, unprofitable, good, expected. Those are the protests of a dethroned habit, not of your real self. Do not hurry. Do not try to make something happen. Sit and sit again, and sit until stillness becomes your native climate. The third responsibility is posture, ethical posture. Put up thy sword. Do not undertake any healing work until you have established yourself, even for a few minutes, in a complete state of non-aggression. No battle with the body. No warfare with thoughts. No argument with conditions. You are not to storm the gates of fear. You are to let the gates of fear fall of their own weight when there is nothing pushing against them. When a thought rises, do not strike it. Let it pass as a cloud over the sun. When the body fidgets, do not scold it. Remember, it is your student, not your enemy. When a condition presents itself with a loud voice symptom, report, prediction, do not wrestle it, do not invest it with power. Be still and know, I am God. This is non-aggressive dominion. It is the authority that needs no noise. Keep the whole of this in secret. Keep your practice secret. Keep your motive secret. Keep your little successes secret, yes, especially those. All worship is wrong when done in public because it so easily converts sincerity into display. Go into your closet and shut the door. Do not even advertise this to your nearest friend. Let your Father which seeth in secret reward thee openly. And the openness will not be a show. It will be a life that no longer panics at appearances because it no longer grants them power. I am telling you these things because that is the way it has been revealed to me, and because without discipline, secrecy of motive, and non-aggression, this work fails before it begins. If you will accept these prerequisites, we can proceed. Then the word, be still and know that I am God, will begin to function not as something you say, but as something that addresses you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. You will hear it, not as a sentence learned, but as the tone of a presence that governs. And that, my dear friend, is why this was given only to students. Now then, for the purpose of this meditation, and only for the purpose of opening the door, you must assume there are two of you. Not two lives, not two gods, not two competing powers. Do not fear that, but two seats inside your one awareness. There is the one you answer to on a driver's license, on a tax form, in family story and temperament, the named self. And there is I, the living presence that is life itself. The I that said before Abraham was, I am. If you balk at the language, good pause and hear it again. We are not inventing a second self. We are distinguishing between the instrument and the music, between the glove and the hand. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. That is scripture, and it is this very thing. Now I must insist on the roles, because if you reverse them, you will go in circles for another decade. The personal self becomes the beholder, the student, the instrument. The inner I is the doer, the sustainer, the governor. Even if outwardly it appears to be you, the person who is acting, speaking, deciding, the instrument does not play itself. The music plays the instrument. The eye does not see itself. Light makes sight. Do you see? The named self sits in the role of witness and consent. The I governs. Be still and know I am God. Not I will try harder. Not I will make my temperament into silence. Be still and know I am God. Who is it that notices the body fidgeting? Who is it that can say, my thoughts are racing? Who is it that hears fear rise like weather in the chest? The witness is not the object witnessed. The seer is not the seen. You are not the fidget. You are aware of it. You are not the thought. You are aware of it. You are not the fear. You are aware of it. Then what is this awareness that is aware of body, thought, fear? That, my dear friend, is the threshold of the I. If you try to make the fidget holy, you will be busy for a lifetime. If you try to make the thought sweet, the fear mild, you will be hypnotized by what you are not. Get thee behind me, Satan. The tempter is the suggestion that the named self by its own effort can save itself. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. So I say to you, as your teacher, stop training the personal self to become spiritual. You cannot paint clay into spirit. You consent, yes. Consent to the inner I to govern the personal self. Consent is your holy word in this practice. You do not push, you permit. You do not command, you yield. You do not make a light, you remove the covering. Be still and know I am. God is not a formula you press upon the named self. It is the permission you offer to the I that already is. You sit as beholder and say in effect, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Not to bend life toward a private will, but to let life be what it is in you. And then, very practically, because this must be practical, when you rise to speak, you do not say, I will be wise. You take your seat inwardly and you consent. I, presence. Speak as this instrument. When you lift a hand to work, you do not say, I must do it perfectly. You yield. I, life, work as this body. When fear approaches with its report, symptom, rumor, bill, you do not arm the named self with arguments. Put up thy sword. You retire to the inner chamber, and you consent. I, the only, am governing here. The personal self listens. The personal self obeys. The personal self does not adjudicate reality. It receives governance and becomes transparent to it. At first, the mind will complain, but it is still me moving the lips, still me signing the check, still me walking down the street. Outwardly, yes. In appearance, yes. But inwardly and in truth, you are exchanging the driver. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. You are learning the holy art of being lived. And as this consent ripens, you will discover a miracle that is not noisy. The named self quiets into witness. The body softens into instrument. And the inner I, without announcement, becomes the governing doer. Then the word you have been repeating comes back to you, not from your lips, but from within. Be still and know I am God. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. And the one who hears is the student. The one who speaks is the life that is your very eye. Now then, I must give you the one anchor, and with it a caution so strong that I hope it never leaves you. Be still and know that I am God. You can hear it with your ears. You can repeat it with your lips. But unless you let it take its seat as instruction, it will remain a sentence and not a door. You, of course, cannot use it as a formula. You must receive it as it comes to you, not to work a wonder, not to make something happen. Be still, not to gain control over life, but to become receptive to the life that is already governing you. Thy will be done. Do you feel the difference? One is trying to bend God into your desire. The other is letting God be God in you. At the beginning, and I say this so that you will not be surprised, you will speak to the mind and to the body. You will say quietly, simply, without drama, be still and know I am God. You will say it to the brow that furrows, to the thought that runs, to the chest that tightens, to the hand that fidgets. You will not argue with them. You will not force them. You will address them from that slightly higher seat we have established, that witness above the fray, and you will say, be still, be still, be still, and know I am God. The very saying, when it is consent and not coercion, yields the mind and the body into receptivity. It is like opening a window. The room does not create the breeze. The room yields to what already moves. Now, you will not like it at first. No, at first it may be dry, it may be mechanical, it may be tiresome. You may not even approve of it. The named self will complain, nothing is happening, this is dull. Let it complain. Expect wandering, expect irritation, expect that you will say, be still, and 5 seconds later discover you are judging a conversation from yesterday. Good. You have discovered what needs yielding. Bring it gently back. Be still and know I am God. Do not measure your practice by pleasantness. Do not grade your hour by the number of tingles. Faithfulness is the measure. Persistence is the measure. He that endureth to the end shall be saved. Saved from what? Saved from the hypnosis that the personal self is the doer. In time, and do not try to make time hurry, you will notice a pivot. At first, you address. Later, you begin to be addressed. At first, the phrase is on your tongue. Later, it is in your marrow. You will be sitting there, perhaps even having forgotten the words, and suddenly within you a quiet authority will say, be still, and you will know that you did not say it. You will know that you are being spoken to, not scolded, but governed by a presence that is your very I. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. In that moment, you will recognize that stillness is no longer manufactured. It is given. It descends as air descends into the room whose window is open. You did not make the air. You made space for it. I must warn you, do not rush to claim this pivot as a badge. The mind will try to imitate the voice. It will say, now I have it. And you will run to use it to fix a condition or to win an argument. Get thee behind me, Satan. Put up thy sword. The anchor remains non-aggressive. You are not to wield be still as a weapon against appearances. You are to withhold the gift of your belief from appearances by resting in the I that governs. The phrase returns you to your seat. The phrase returns you to your consent. The phrase returns you to non-aggression. And in that return, appearances which live on your fear discover they have no food. So take this anchor into your hours. Take it when you wake and your day gallops ahead of you. Be still and know I am God. Take it when you are praised and the name self swells. Be still and know I am God. Take it when reports arrive, health, money, reputation, and the old reflex reaches for armor. Be still and know I am God. Each time is not to do something to the world. Each time is to be done unto by the inner eye. Little by little, the dryness gives way to quiet. The quiet gives way to a sense of being companioned, and the sense of companionship gives way to governance. And then you will understand why I have insisted that it is not a formula, because the words fall away, but the authority remains and it speaks for itself. Now then, take your seat, not in a chair only, but in awareness. Take your seat just above the forehead, as if you were sitting no, as if you were resting up above the mind, not in pride but in witness, looking gently down into the crown of the head. Do not strain to imagine, simply suppose. For the purpose of practice, suppose that you are up here, and beneath you is the skull with its fine corridors, the brain with its bright electrical weather, the face with its muscles that have learned habits. From this place, quietly, without any scolding, say, be still, and know I am God. Not to push, not to make, but to include. Be still. Let the top of the head be your first chamber crown to scalp. As if light seeps through the roof and softens everything it touches, say to it, be still. Feel the skin of the scalp. Understand that it is not the master. Then let your gaze, the inner gaze, pass down across the forehead, the brow that has learned to furrow, as if thinking were salvation. It is not. Gently be still. Between the brows, that little knot that tries to hold the world together, relax into witness and say again, be still and know I am God. You are not arguing with the brow. You are not forcing it to change its shape. You are including it in a greater quiet, the way a river includes the twig without debating it. Now look inward, as if the skull were hollow, and you could see the mind's weather-moving thoughts, streaks, sparks, memories, plans. Do not chase them. Do not name them. Do not even try to slow them. Leave them their motion, and from your seat above, say only, be still. When I say be still, I do not mean stop. I mean yield. Let the mind be included, not fought. Put up thy sword. The mind hears, in time, that there is a presence above it, not an enemy, not a rival, but a governor that needs no control because it is control. The government shall be upon his shoulder. So when a thought leaps or 200 parade through, do not strike at them. Hold the field of stillness. Include them. Be still and know I am God. The temples left and right where effort presses. Rest your attention there as one who reassures a child after a long day. Be still. The eyes, do not squeeze them shut to perform stillness. Let them rest in their sockets, heavy as stones at the bottom of a clear lake. Be still. The cheeks, the jaw that clenches to get through. Beloved jaw, be still. Let the tongue lie down from its arguments. Let even the back of the throat be told tenderly, be still. We are not using God for a purpose. We are opening the rooms of a house to the air that already is. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Now watch, without hunting for it, for the first sign of shift, it will not be fireworks. It will be a tiny interval, a pause, a gap between the words you intend to say and the fact of a quiet that arrives before them. Do not seize it. Do not cry, now I have it. Only notice. There is awareness of awareness. There is a knowing that is not directed at any object, a simple, unearned, unmanufactured hush. If you miss it, do not be troubled. You cannot miss what is omnipresent. If you glimpse it, do not congratulate yourself. You did not produce it. Peace, be still. And even if the sea rolls on, there is a remembrance now that the witness is the sea bed, not the wave. Remain seated above. If the mind rushes to comment, is this it? Is this quiet? Is this spiritual? Smile inwardly and say, be still. You see, the mind is beginning to discover that it is not the master, not dismissed, not humiliated, simply not the master. It can submit without being destroyed. This is non-aggression. This is the first lesson of governance. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee, comes as a tone, not a sentence. And from that tone, you continue, crown, brow, temples, eyes, jaw, throat, each included in the same field of yieldedness. Take your time. Do not hurry this descent. If you notice the interval again, the quiet awareness, aware of itself, bow inwardly, not to pay homage to an experience, but to consent to the one who is always there. Be still and know I am God. Say it less with lips now and more with posture, this sitting above, this beholding, this allowing. When you rise from this first chamber, do not declare yourself advanced. Simply know that you have begun to establish the seat, and from this seat, the mind gently, inevitably learns, I am not the master. The I am is the master, and I am content to be still before it. Now, let the gaze widen, as if the inner light that has rested above the brow were to drift, calm as dawn, across the tops of the shoulders. Do not go down yet first, just notice the yoke, the place where the world has so often been carried, as if you were appointed to hold it all up. Do not interpret it, do not inquire into the history, do not even name the burdens. From your seat as beholder, say gently, without scolding, be still, and know I am God. Let that word be felt along the collarbones, as though it were water seeping into dry ground. Be still. Now let the awareness turn as though the body were hollow, yes, as if the shoulders were a pair of quiet caves, and you can see in there bundles of muscle, tiny threads, the hinge where arm meets trunk, all of it busy by habit, braced for days that have not yet come. You are not attacking this. This is your student. You are the witness consenting to the inner eye to govern what you, as a person, have never governed well. So you speak again, not as a general to soldiers, but as a teacher to a child. Be still. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. We are not making the shoulders holy by effort. We are opening them to a government not of our voice. Let the left shoulder have its own minute. Let the right shoulder have the same. You will be tempted to hurry, do not. The habits that live here, grasping, bracing, reaching to control, these are not evil. They are frightened. Do not soothe them with stories. Do not analyze their parents. Do not strike them with will. Say only, be still, and know I am God. The bracing dissolves not because you have argued it away, but because it is seen in a larger light where it never was, master. Now descend through the upper arms as if you could look lengthwise through a pair of hollow reeds. Let the light go inside the left humerus, inside the right, and without commanding shape or temperature, address them. Be still. When I say be still, I do not mean numb. I mean yielded, receptive. Your arms have long been the body's doers, lifting, pushing, protecting, proving. Today they are students in the same school as the mind. They learn they are not saviors. Put up thy sword. The very remembering of that word eases the ancient reflex to strike or to shield. Be still and know I am God. Come to the elbows, those hinges that are so quick to snap open in reaction and to lock shut in refusal. See them from within as simple gates, and let the gates rest on their posts. Be still. Do not hold them straight. Do not bend them as a technique. Only let the inner governance arrive there like a soft hand on a restless animal. Be still. From there to the forearms again, 2 long corridors. Travel without haste. Speak without drama. Be still and know I am God. You are not doing anything to the muscles. You are withdrawing the personal claim of control so that the presence that is already life in those cells can be recognized as the only control. Now the wrists, delicate bridges between force and finesse, how they have learned to tighten as if precision depended on tension. Bid them be still, not slackness, yieldedness. Then let your gaze pour into the palms as if the lines there were little riverbeds that have carried so many plans and payments and promises. How we have tried to hold life in these hands. Thy will be done. Let the hands hear it. Let the grip that says mine loosen without throwing anything away, simply because it discovers there is no need to grasp what already includes you. Be still and know I am God. 1 finger at a time now, thumb first, second, third, little left hand and then right, or right and then left, but not both at once, not today. Attend each fingertip, each nail bed, as if you could look right down through the pulp to the bone and be present there as witness. Be still. Resist all urge to interpret what releases a memory that jumps, a heat, a tremor. These are just the body reporting that a new government is recognized. Do not applaud, do not be alarmed. Only remain as the beholder and let the inner eye do its silent work. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Now sit with the whole field, shoulders to fingertips, quietly addressed and included. Let there be no battleground here. If a twitch returns, do not judge. If a thought about usefulness rises, do not join it. Return to the one word that is our anchor, but not our weapon. Be still and know I am God. In this classroom, the body is not coerced. It is taught. And as it learns, a change you could never engineer appears. The arms are no longer instruments of struggle. The hands no longer claws of possession. They become, without fanfare, instruments transparent to a governance they do not invent. Then, even in action, lifting a cup, opening a door, you may find that it is no longer you, the named self, insisting on outcomes, but I, the life, moving easily in its own house. And there is peace, not because you want to fight with your body, but because the body ceased to be a battlefield and took its right place as an instrument of the one. Be still. Now let the light that has gathered in the arms drift inward, quiet as an evening tide to the chest. Not the picture of a chest, but this very rib cage, this sternum, these lungs that have worked while you slept and will work while you forget them. Sit where we have learned to sit above as beholder, and look, if only in supposing, into the chamber behind the breastbone. It is busy in there by habit. It is vigilant by training. And I bid you, without any scolding, be still and know I am God. Let the words be addressed not to a concept, but to these living tissues. Be still. Do not pick up the breath as if it were a leash. Do not count. Do not deepen. Do not improve. You are not the breath's master. Let it be breathed. Say again, quietly, as one who reassures a faithful servant that has been overcommanded, be still. And notice, if you do not force it, that the breath begins to find you on its own measure. It may be shallow. It may be deep. It is not your business. Your business is yieldedness. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the life breathe the body, they labor in vain who pant and puff to prove control. Be still and know I am God. Now the heart. Do not make it mystical. Do not make it medical. It is a pump, yes, and it is also the place where fear pretends to live. It has learned to thud when reports arrive, to flutter when predictions are made. Do not wrestle it into courage. Do not argue statistics. Sit above it and say, very softly, as if speaking through warm cloth, be still. We are not here to buy relief. We are not here to trade silence for outcomes. The temptation will come, oh, it will come to make a bargain. If I am quiet, will you ease this tightness? If I surrender, will you take this ache? Get thee behind me, Satan. Stillness is not a transaction. It is the surrender of false authority. We are ceasing to use God for a purpose and consenting that presence be the purpose. Be still and know I am God. Let the diaphragm come into view, the great sheet that arches and falls, the hinge of sighs, the belt where so many of us hold, as if holding could hold back life. Do not push it down, do not insist it rise. You are not to become the breath's engineer. You are here to remove your hand from the wheel, so that the wheel may reveal it was never driver. Say only, be still. And if a long breath comes of its own accord, welcome it without applause. If nothing changes, welcome that also, because nothing is your proof that you have stopped making change your idol. I must tell you, if only to save you months, the body relaxes most when you stop trying to relax it. The moment you stop working the lever, the machinery begins to discover its native rhythm, and the rhythm is not yours. Peace, be still. Now, further down, the abdomen beneath the navel, above the hips, the workshop where fear props its ladders. Old reflexes live here, clenching against surprise, armoring against lack, bracing against shame. Do not take sides. Do not read the diary. Look as if the belly were a quiet room with curtains moving in a breeze you did not provide. Be still. Speak to the front wall, and then as though you could address the back, the deep interior where the organs go about their holy work without your counsel. Be still. You are not here to slow peristalsis or quicken it. You are here to withdraw the claim that a frightened governor sits on this throne. The government shall be upon his shoulder. And as you stand aside, you may feel not by your order but by grace, a small untying, a softening toward the spine, a warmth that is not sentiment but simple circulation freed of your meddling. Do not pounce. Do not name it. Be still and know I am God. At some unplanned moment, a sentence may arrive not as something you recite, but as something that addresses you from the quiet you have permitted. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Do not clutch it like a charm. Do not repeat it like a password. Receive it as you would the tone of a familiar footstep in the hall. Presence is the reassurance. Presence is the end of bargaining. Presence is the reason we came to the chair. And in that presence, the heart is freed to beat without panic. The breath is freed to breathe without management. The belly is freed to release without confession. This is not the end of fear by fight. It is the end of fear's hire, because you have ceased to employ it. You have ceased to enthrone it. You have remembered when the seat. And from that seat, you do not drive the body. You permit the inner eye to live it. Be still and know I am God. Now let us turn to the back, the country of old alarms, the country where we have stood guard night after night as if the world were at our door. Begin at the base of the skull, where the neck meets the head, and see, if only in supposing, a column descending cervical to thoracic to lumbar, as though it were a reed, a flute through which life has always played, whether you noticed or not. Do not take hold of it. Do not straighten it by command. Sit in your seat as beholder and address it lightly, truly. Be still and know I am God. Not to make the spine submit to you, but to yield the spine to the one who has never failed to hold you upright. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Let your awareness pass behind the throat and into the nape where effort likes to camp. Do not rub it with thought. Do not negotiate with it. Be still. Down between the shoulder blades, that old cruciform that has carried so much self-importance and self-defense, be still. The muscles that lie like ropes along either side of the spine, paraspinals always at attention. Always the soldiers say to them what the master said to Peter, put up thy sword. We are not at war. We are not required to keep the world from falling. His yoke is easy, and his burden is light. Be still, and know I am God. If an ache speaks up here, if a hot spot flashes its report like a red light in a control room, do not rush with a pail. Do not hurry with a prayer you hope will douse it. That is aggression dressed in piety. Instead, include the ache in the field of yieldedness. Let it exist without your commentary. Say only, be still. Non-aggression is not weakness. It is the sign that the personal self has stopped trying to be the savior. You are ending the long argument with the body, ending the cross-examination, ending the bribe, ending the threat. Except the Lord build the house. They labor in vain that build it. Except the life steady the back, you labor in vain propping it with fear. Let the shoulder blades be seen from within, like quiet wings folded in their nests. The urge will come to arch them, to wring them, to improve them. Smile at the urge as at an overeager servant and say, no, dear one, be still. Slide your gaze down each rung of vertebrae as if you were descending a ladder inside a tower, one hand on each rail, unhurried, present. In the mid-back where worry likes to live, be still. In the low back where money and survival write their messages, be still. You are not pressing a button marked relief. You are removing your hand from a lever that was never connected to anything real. Now come to the sacrum, the little altar at the base, the keystone of the arch. Rest there with reverence. Not dramatic, simple. Be still and know I am God. The pelvis now, the bowl that has taken the shocks of your days, the hinge of your going and coming. Let the crest of each hip be seen from within, as if they were hills holding a quiet valley between. No tucking, no tilting by will, only the consent that allows what is already heavy to be heavy. Let gravity be priest here. Let the weight flow through bone into earth without argument. Put up thy sword. The nervous system has learned a battle stance, ready to spring, ready to flee, ready to freeze. Announce the armistice, not by collapsing, by yielding. Be still. Attend to the psoas not as a label to be chased, but as the felt corridor that tightens when you are braced against life. Do not reach with thought to lengthen it. Do not summon a picture book posture. Say to that deep corridor where the habit of alarm resides, be still. When it does not obey, do not scold. When it softens of its own, do not congratulate. Either way, it is not your achievement. Peace, be still. And you will notice, if you do not rush to notice, that a different quality of quiet begins to arrive. It is not sleep. It is not trance. It is an alert hush in which the back is not held up by your intention, but held within an authority that does not tire. This is the threshold. You will think, I could stay like this without effort. Yes, but do not turn the discovery into a project. Remain the beholder and permit the voice that is not a voice to say from within your very spine, be still and know I am God. You did not summon it. You are being addressed. And when you are addressed, the nervous system lays down its arms. The old patrols stand down. The need to fix, to guard, to argue, yields to governance. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. That word is not anesthesia. It is presence. You are not becoming passive. You are ceasing to pretend that fear is your armor and willpower your king. Rest here a minute longer, neck to sacrum, sacrum to hips, without doing, without hoping. If a thought comes to enlist this quiet to fix a condition, smile and say, "Get thee behind me." We are not using God for a purpose. We are allowing presence to be the purpose. And in that permission, the back that has been a battleground becomes an instrument, not slack, ready without readiness, awake without alarm. Non-aggression has become your strength because you have remembered the seat and the governor who sits there. Be still and know I am God. Now let the descent continue from the hips. Allow the awareness to pour like quiet sand into the upper thighs. Do not take hold. Do not straighten the knees or lengthen the legs by will. Let the bones be heavy, because they are heavy, and let heaviness be holy. The earth is not your opponent. It is the altar upon which form learns humility. Be still and know I am God. Address the front of each thigh as if you could see through the flesh to the long muscles that have pushed you forward to get, to prove, to arrive. Put up thy sword. The campaign is over for now. Be still. Turn then to the backs of the thighs, the great cords of the hamstrings where haste keeps its camp. Do not stretch them with thought. Simply include them. You will be tempted to perform a release. Do not speak from your seat as beholder to both left and right, but not hurriedly. Never both at once if you can help it today. Take the left. Be still. Take the right. Be still. You are not disciplining muscle. You are withdrawing the claim of a frightened governor that has been driving them. His yoke is easy, and his burden is light. Let the light be believed here by your non-aggression. Now come to the knees, the gates. They have learned to lock against life and to collapse before it. See the kneecaps as small shields that do not have to be held. Let the space behind each knee, that tender hollow where fear likes to crouch, be seen as a little cave at noon. Be still. You do not need to open the gate. You do not need to hold it shut. You are only to let governance be recognized in the one place where it has never failed within. Be still and know I am God. Slide slowly into the calves, two long chambers of readiness, always on spring, how they grip the world, how quick they are to tense when a sound arrives. Tell them, with no disappointment in your tone, be still. Tell them again, because they have heard so many other words. If they do not soften, do not scold. If they do, do not celebrate. You are not making anything happen. You are remembering that nothing real needs your making. Peace, be still. The shins now, the simple front rails, so often battered by days we call ordinary. Be still. Into the ankles, those loyal bridges that have carried you across stones you never saw. Do not angle them. Do not set them square. Let them be as they are, and say very gently, be still. This is the place where control is most subtle, tiny muscles forever trying to correct, to pre-correct, to post-correct. Release them from your management. Be still and know I am God. Let the awareness pool in the heels. Let the earth claim its own. Do not push them down. Permit the fact that they are already down. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. The floor under you is not an adversary to be resisted, nor a prize to be conquered. It receives you without bargain. Be still. Roll in your attention only across the outer edges of the feet where you have learned to lean, then across the arches, those quiet bridges that do not need your lifting to be what they are. Be still. Then the balls of the feet, the place ready to spring. Tell them the spring can rest. Be still and know I am God. Now, each toe, yes, each one. Do not smile this away as small work. You will discover that small work is where the old governor hides. Left big toe, be still. Second toe, be still. Third, Fourth, little be still. Then right big toe and its brothers in turn. If a ripple of heat, if a prickle of life moves, include it. If nothing seems to answer, include that too. You are not testing God. You are ceasing to test anything. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace. Do not make a banner of that. Let the peace publish itself when you are not editing the paper. Sit now with the whole field from crown to soles as one room, not a collection of parts to be managed, but a single house already built whose doors you have opened to their owner. Listen inwardly. The body is quieter, yes, but more than that, the posture of I must manage everything has loosened its jaw. The named self is not dismissed. It is relieved of office. The I that I am is not busy. It is present. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Do not repeat it now. Let it repeat you. And now, very important, do not keep talking. Do not keep addressing. Do not make a parade of. Be still. You have made the offering, the relinquishment of governance by a person. Now let there be the holy pause in which you are not addressing but are willing, truly willing to be addressed. Close the inner lips. Keep the seat. Let the earth hold what is earthly. Let the body rest in its recognition. And you, as witness, simply wait without bargain, without hope as a strategy, without fear as an agenda. Be still and know I am God. When the whole body is stilled, you are prepared to discover that guidance is not something you produce. It arrives of itself. It has always arrived. And in a moment, not because you summon it, you will know whether it is your time to listen. Now then, this is the turning. You have made the offering. You have sat as beholder, and you have addressed gently, patiently, thoroughly. And now do not hurry this. Now you begin to discover that something changes in the mechanics. At first it is you saying, be still and know I am God. Not as a whip, not as a charm, but as a door held open. But there comes a minute, not by schedule, not by will, in which the stillness addresses you. Do you hear me? Not a voice to the ear, not a sentence you make up and slip back to yourself. An inner governance speaks without arguing, and the sensation is peculiar at first because it is free of strain. The lines reverse. The current, which you thought was going out, is revealed as always having come from within. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. You do not strain to hear. You find that you are being heard. This is not a vision. This is not drama. In fact, the surest sign is the absence of fireworks. It is quiet assurance, the sense of companionship that requires no display. It is as if a hand you do not have is on your shoulder. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. You do not repeat it now. You do not reach for it. It arrives and holds you. Another sign. The fever to improve yourself diminishes. The countless projects by which the personal self has tried to make itself safe, admired, spiritual, these do not have to be renounced with a shout. They simply lose their shine. You forget them as a child forgets a toy when the real friend comes to the door. It is I. Be not afraid. Do not dramatize this turn. Do not go in search of voices. If you hunt phenomena, you will invent them and then be trapped by your own invention. No. Be still. The proof that the inner eye has become the instructor is not that you can report a new light in the room. The proof is governance. You notice, not by effort but by surprise, that certain reactions do not arise as quickly. An old insult appears and you do not meet it with a sword. A decision you would have chewed all night becomes simple and clean without debate. You recognize fear's costume sooner and you do not bow to it. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. This is the new administration taking its seat. Now, I must ask you, Keep the inner lips closed. Do not make an announcement even to yourself about how far you have come. The moment you do, the personal self reclaims the gavel and you are back to editing the paper. Let the piece publish itself. Let the presence instruct you in its own manner. Sometimes it will feel like a pause that stops you from sending a sharp word. Sometimes like a warmth that moves you out of a room. Sometimes like a clear no that has no anger in it. There is no argument in this voice. There is no sale. It leads, and you find yourself following without the old obedience tricks, without fear of punishment, without hope of a prize. Be still and know I am God. If you ask, how shall I know it is not my fancy? I tell you, by its fruit. Fancy excites, presence settles. Fancy argues, presence ends the argument. Fancy rushes you, presence pauses you. Fancy makes you important, presence relieves you of importance. By their fruits ye shall know them. And the fruit will be this: you will cease lending power to appearances. The report will come of lack, of disease, of enmity, and instead of sharpening your tools, you will feel the still answer within, get thee behind me. Not in bravado, not in denial, but in recognition that all power is in the I that I am. The personal self does not do this. It witnesses it being done. Now then, do not think that because of one sweet hour you have graduated. No, this turn must be renewed and recognized many times until it is your normal. But take heart. Each recognition makes the next easier because it chisels away the old superstition that you must be the manager of life. When you stop addressing and begin to be addressed, the government shifts. The named self becomes the listener, the instrument. The inner I becomes the teacher, the doer. Peace, be still. Not as a command you export, but as the atmosphere you live within. Walk in it softly. Keep it secret. And let your days, not your claims, bear witness that the one has taken his rightful seat. Now then, with the government change, we can face what, up to this moment, has ruled most of our day's claims. I must call them by that name because it is the only honest word. Conditions, diagnoses, forebodings, sins, regrets, these arrive at the door of consciousness as petitioners pretending to be kings. They knock with charts, they knock with memories, they knock with sensations, and they all ask the same illicit question: will you grant me power? Understand me, this is their food. Claims feed on your identification with the personal self. They feed on your consent to be a patient, a victim, a penitent without a God. They say, sign here and we will live in you. And until you know who you are, you sign. But now the I that I am has taken its rightful seat, and so the answer changes. Be still and know I am God. We are flooded with claims in these days that will not stop because you and I take our seat. Reports will come of cataracts, of cancer, of heart conditions, of balances due, of enmities, of generational sins rehearsed like a family anthem. But hear the principle and hold it cleanly. There is no power in form or effect, none. All power is in the I that I am. Do not soften it. Do not add a footnote, because the moment you grant even a sliver of power to appearance, you will begin to wheedle and fight. You will turn this teaching into a weapon. You will pray at the claim as if it were an equal on the field. Put up thy sword. We do not fight the claim. We withdraw belief from it. We take from it the only life it ever had, our consent. Now, I am not asking you to deny human need. I am not asking you to shrug at pain, to look away from lack, to be pious where bread is required. No, I am saying that your first and only healing act is to deny the claim's authority. You do not have to scream at it. You do not have to wave words over it. You have only to recognize what this turn was given for. governance. Get thee behind me, Satan. Not a flourish of moral superiority, a simple recognition that the suggestion has no jurisdiction in the kingdom you are now consenting to live in. And the moment you refuse to enthrone it, that thing begins to dissolve into its native nothingness. Hear me, native nothingness, because it never was a power, only a shape asking for your fear to fill it. Do you see then why stillness is the only ground on which we meet claims? If you rush, you have already traded I for I, me. If you argue, you have already accepted the premise. Be still and know I am God. Let the report be exactly what it is, a report. You are not colder or crueler because you do not give it your life. You are truer, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. This Spirit, recognized as the only law, does not take up arms against a condition. It reveals the unreality of any authority other than its own. And in that revealing, what needed bread is met with bread without fear's contract. What needed a physician is met with a physician without a shrine to diagnosis. What needed reconciliation is met with a soft word you did not manufacture. Do not make a theory of it. Demonstrate it by declining to bow. At first, you will catch yourself lending your power in small ways. A twinge, and you are already writing its future. A letter in the mail, and you are already living in its worst paragraph. Smile at the old reflex and answer with your practice. Be still, and in the stillness, not a brave denial, but a simple refraining from coronation. Peace, be still. Do you notice? The peace does not come because you have conquered a foe. It comes because you refuse to create one. The sea was never your enemy. The wind was never a god. All power is in the I that I am. Let us keep it ethical. Let us keep it secret. Let us keep it merciful. Tend the child, pay the bill, see the nurse, reconcile with your brother, but do all of it without lending one grain of divinity to the appearance that knocked on your door. Refuse to make a graven image out of a medical name or a financial number or a moral failure. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Not a slogan to be painted on a wall, an inward posture. Healing begins where you stop empowering appearances and rest in the omnipresence of the inner eye. That rest does not excuse you from action. It transfigures action from panic to obedience. And then, quietly, sometimes without a report you can boast over, the claim reveals itself as what it always was, a shadow on a wall. We are not here to fight shadows. We are here to turn on the light. Be still and know I am God. Now then, let me say it as plainly as I know how. Knowing the correct letter of truth is only a step. It is a good step, a necessary step, but a step only. The letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. Do you hear? Letter is instruction, Spirit is life. You may repeat, be still and know I am God 10,000 times, and still be an anxious governor at the helm, if that word has not become your atmosphere. Truth becomes power only as it becomes your consciousness, and consciousness is not an announcement. It is a habituated identity. We are building identity by demonstration. What is demonstration? Not spectacle, not a show for neighbors. Demonstration is the little unadvertised proof that in this one place, at this one moment, I as governor is more real to you than the claim. Begin there. Begin where you are. The next irritation that pricks your pride, stop. Do not fix the person who pricked you. Do not fix the person you think you are. Take your seat. Be still and know I am God. Let the named self slide into its witness chair and let the inner eye hold court. Do you feel the heat rise in the chest? Fine. That is the arena. Bid it be still. not to control the other, not to improve your reputation, only to withdraw the crown from appearance. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. The next fear that steals into your room at 1 a.m, do not wrestle it. That is still the letter using its fists. Turn the body like a student toward the teacher. Crown of head to souls. Be still. Then hush. Wait until you are being addressed. If you receive only a quiet lessening that is already a demonstration, do not sell it short because it lacked fireworks. By their fruits ye shall know them. Fruit is the missing panic, the soft answer that turns away wrath, the night you sleep because you refuse to enthrone a shadow. The next bodily discomfort, yes, even a common twinge, do not hire the personal self as your healer. Sit in your seat, speak once if you must, be still, and then place the entire field under non-aggression. Refuse to turn God into a remedy. Presence is the purpose. Watch. When the discomfort fades, or if it does not fade on schedule, either way, the practice is the point. You are clarifying thought. You are loosening the superstition that sensation is a power. These small obediences are your first flights. The Wright brothers did not cross oceans in an afternoon, but the moment they were aloft, 57 seconds, the principle was proved. So it is with you. One irritation met in stillness, one fear left uncrowned, one ache deprived of throne, and the certainty grows. All power is in the I that I am. Now, I must tell you, this is work. Hard work. Not punishment training. Training the habit of identification. Training the mind to take its seat as servant. Training the body to recognize a government gentler and stronger than muscle. Exercise thyself rather unto godliness. Return to the practice, not to win a medal, not to collect stories, but because each return chisels away another layer of the old ruler. Line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. And yes, there will be days you feel you have failed. You have not. You have witnessed the place where the habit is still thick and you have your assignment. Let me close this portion with an insistence. Do not be content with phrases. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord. Prove it on the smallest battlefield at your feet. Keep it secret, keep it clean, keep it merciful. And as you do, you will find that you no longer try to fix the personal self at all. You forget it. The inner I assumes its place. Appearances lose the borrowed light you used to lend them. This is not magic, this is government. Truth is power only as it becomes your consciousness. And consciousness is forged, not advertised quietly, daily, in demonstration. Be still and know I am God. Now then, because you have tasted a little of this turning, I must set the rule that makes it a life and not a moment. Do not argue with me here. If you would remain in this work, accept what I say. If you will not, I release you in love. It will take you not less than 3 to 4 months to successfully accomplish this meditation as a habit of identity, not a flirtation, an establishment. For this season, you will give it a daily main period and several returns, and you will keep the purpose of its secret. When thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. Do not make a performance out of your closet. Keep the door shut. Set your main period. Morning is best because the mind has not yet clothed itself in the old uniform. But if your work forces a different hour, take it and keep it, never less than 1 hour. If you are able, 1.5 to 2. Do not dramatize the number. Simply be faithful. Do not attempt heroics one day and neglect the next. A shorter, steady obedience builds more government than occasional marathons. Sit, assume your seat as beholder, and begin as you have learned. Be still and know I am God, addressing the field as student until the addressing ceases and the instructor arrives. Do not hurry it. Do not use it to fix a life. Presence is the purpose. Now, I must ask you, set your returns several times during the day, 3 at least, 5 if you can. Stop for 5 minutes, not 10 seconds of piety. 5 minutes. Wherever you are, withdraw your sword. Close the inner lips. If you are at a desk, hands still. If you are in a corridor, eyes soft. If you are in a car, attention inward, without danger. Be still and know I am God. That is all. You are not there to solve anything. You are there to keep the government familiar. These returns steady the tone of the day so that when the claim knocks, you are not building an altar to it. You are remembering the sanctuary already within. If you miss a return, do not scold. That is the personal self-claiming virtue. Simply take the next hour when it comes, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. What matters is not drama, but continuity. Let the day become lightly studded with these altars of stillness until the atmosphere of I is more real to you than the weather of appearances. I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Let that be true to you because you have made room for it, not because you have memorized it. Now about secrecy. I must ask you not to pass this on until you yourself have completely mastered this meditation. Do not preach it in your house. Do not put it on your wall. Do not make a personality out of quiet. Keep your motive clean. No one need know what you do with your hour. If someone remarks on your composure, bless them silently and change the subject. All worship is wrong when done in public because the self begins to taste itself and then the flavor is lost. Thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Let the openness be fruit, not advertisement. Fix a place if you can, a chair that becomes familiar, a corner that learns the tone of you when you are no longer doing the governing. If a token helps you recollect an open Bible, a single word on a small card, use it, but keep the purpose of it secret. These are not charms, they are reminders that you are not training the personal self to become spiritual. You are consenting to the inner I to govern the personal self. And each time you sit, hear this, assume again deliberately that for the purpose of this meditation there are two of you, the named self you have defended and introduced all your life, and I, the real self, the doer, the governor, the life. Let the one you have been defending step aside, no disgrace, only relief, and take your place as beholder. Begin with the body as your student, offer non-aggression as your ethic, and wait until the teacher speaks. Be still and know I am God. Do this daily for months. Do the returns without fanfare. Keep it clean. Keep it merciful. And you will discover that without announcement, without a graduation day, the personal self naturally yields to the government of the inner I, and the world that once commanded you begins to appear as it always was, an appearance addressed by presence, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Now go and set your hour.